That's how experts across the world describe lead.
Something that hasn't been used in consumer products in almost half a century, and yet lead turned up in a Chicago toddler's blood recently, and his levels were so high the little boy may not live a normal life.
CBS 2's Lauren Victory shares his family's quest for answers.
Lots of cuddles and a little bit of chaos. Typical toddler things. But this past fall, 21-month-old Jedi Ruzika wasn't making any mischief. He was hardly making eye contact.
It seemed like there was like a fog there. He wasn't interested in nothing.
Dad Joseph Ruzika says Jedi wasn't talking or babbling. He was really only grunting or whining.
These are referrals from Jedi's pediatrician.
Elena Long took her son in for audiology, neurosurgery, and other developmental screenings. A crucial part of these checkups turned out to be blood work.
A couple hours before, we were laying in bed watching TV, just like a normal day. A couple hours later, I'm in the hospital, and my son's in the ICU, and I didn't even know what to think.
Jedi's lead level came back at 76. For reference, a level of 3.5 would have caused concern. Doctors start emergency treatment if kids hit 45. Little Jedi had almost double that number in his system.
I was like Googling, what is lead poisoning?
It's something that affected more than 7,000 Illinois children as recently as 2019, according to state records. This Department of Public Health report goes on to warn that childhood lead poisoning in Illinois remains one of the highest in the nation.
We have to have as our goal, I think, for the 21st century, to bring every baby home to a lead-safe environment.
Professor Mary Jean Brown from Harvard University spent years as chief of the Healthy Homes and Lead Poisoning Prevention Program at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC website is chock full of lead contamination info, including why it's so detrimental to kids' brain development.
Many children will have trouble in math. That's more related to some of the judgment things in the frontal cortex.
Other possible long-term effects, struggles with reading and anger management. So how are children in 2023 getting poisoned by something banned 45 years ago? Lead-based paint is usually the culprit. It's often found in homes built before 1978. Chicago has a lot of those, including the apartment Jedi's parents rented in November 2021.
With all our kids, it was like just a huge space. It looked really nice, remodeled.
But some areas of the Belmont-Cragen building were deteriorating.
What did you think this was when you used to open the window?
I just thought it was just chipped paint.
When doors closed, she says tiny particles would fly around the apartment.
I just thought that was just dust. I didn't know that was going to harm my child.
A City of Chicago inspection confirmed lead in the building. And the problem wasn't just those windows. The report shows lead hazards in the closets, hallways, stairways, and more.
Jedi's parents say they weren't told the rental had lead paint.
You did not know about the lead when they moved in.
Their landlord, Edgar Espinoza, denied knowing about it too when we reached him by phone. He declined an on-camera interview. Cook County property records show Espinoza purchased the building as a foreclosure in 2013. If he didn't recognize this was lead-based paint, that's one thing. But CBS 2 noticed something else important. The Ruzika family's lease is missing check marks next to the lead notification requirement.
Did you ever get anything that looks like this?
We did not.
We showed Long the Environmental Protection Agency's lead information pamphlet she should have gotten before moving.
A landlord is supposed to provide some educational materials just in case there's lead.
Espinoza told me he didn't know about that requirement, even though it's been federal law for 30 years for anyone renting property constructed before 1978. A city inspector slapped a big warning on the building door after Jedi's diagnosis, and Espinoza tells us he's working to fix the lead issues. Meantime, Chicago's Department of Public Health is working to better inform parents of young children about lead dangers. They recently unveiled a lead-safe housing registry with 50 properties that got cleaned up in just 1 year. Progress, but there's a long way to go. Same with Jedi. He's now in therapy to try to reverse any lead poisoning damage.
Every day I'm trying to piece together how he can get better. How is this going to affect him long term?
Babies on the bus go. Shh, shh, shh.
His blood lead level is down to 17 from 76. Still not where he should be, but back at their new apartment, Dad notices a difference. His rambunctious boy is back.
Just those little milestones, like, kind of get me a little emotional because he wasn't doing none of this 4 months ago.
No more Jedi the zombie. It's time for Jedi the warrior. Lauren Victory, CBS 2 News.
Jedi scheduled for an MRI next week to see how much brain damage the lead poisoning caused. To help prevent these situations in the future, the city is working on a system where families can inquire if lead hazards are found at a specific address. That's not ready just yet, but that lead-safe housing registry Lauren mentioned in the story, you'll find more on that at cbschicago.com.